but I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Well, at this time, we'll move on to, let's see, hold on, to Bob Armstrong, who's going to give us an update on CoSy. So, Bob, you have 25 minutes, and I would encourage people who are not presenting to go to mute so we don't have any background noise. So, Bob, take it.
Okay, how's my sound? Is that good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So let me
Start off with
share.
the definition of it. I've never heard of it.
I'm sorry, that was,
Oh, start off with a definition of what CoSy is.
okay, well, actually, I'm going to start off in CoSy, which sort of is intrinsically put down a timestamp. It is a notebook. I guess I'll start with that. It is a time-stamped notebook. And so the most fundamental thing is that you don't lose what you've written down. And when I hit this timestamp here, it actually saved the entire environment that I'm in. Now, fourth is somewhere I think I've got a quote. The purpose of fourth is to make words. Well, as soon as I heard of fourth, to me, the obvious thing was to implement APL, because APL is the, if you will, most sophisticated mathematically based vocabulary. And I've lived my life in it. So if you have the words to think it, it's done. You know, essentially you can write a sentence down and it's done. One thing, I'm now on a 4K screen, and actually I've got Control F9 goes, and
Yeah, make the font bigger.
this is a 4K screen. I just want to show the what things look like on my everyday screen. Actually, I need to move it over some. But I just wanted to point out, I mean, in addition to all of the other things that I'm doing, I've got one, two, actually, I guess I can expand it a little. Okay. I don't want to expand it too much because this is actually my private notes, but I have one, I have my main screen. I found, whoops, I see that, yeah. I found that having them overlap so that here's my mailing lists, here's my blog post, well, I didn't mean to, and here's actually work log, which I've started off over in here, and here's a bunch of my accounting. So that's the sort of thing that, CoSy, let me go and shrink that down again. And okay, that's, okay. Getting back over here, I just wanted to show that I've reduced, I've gone back to just a regular, well, HD screen or whatever for this. So I think that things, this is readable, right? What are we seeing now? We're back to seeing this over on the side, right? This is just my browser window. Right, okay. So CoSy has evolves, continues to evolve APL, but it's in open fourth. So this is all, you can see it in the syntax, but the thing is that it's at, if you will, the human level of problems of, you know, actually dealing with everyday items. So yeah, it's yeah, CoSy or fourth take gets you from the silicon to the dictionary, and APL, which leads to Arthur Whitney's K, which is the source of CoSy, a lot of the vocabulary of CoSy. It fills that dictionary at the most general level. And most fundamentally, in a sense, APL does this. CoSy factors looping. So where every time that in a scalar language that loops through items to get something done, there are several words. I'm F6ing this. Why did, oh, I don't have the cursor. I had a cursor on the blank line. I meant to execute this line. These are some of the words that are looping words, and these are the real absolute fundamentals of an APL. You have looping over a single loop, looping over pairs of two lists. Everything's a list. Looping, well, I'm going to skip that because I will get down to, well, pull up. It's all gets down to having what I now have, a CoSy button and delivering.
Is that similar to the APL AA programming language?
Right.
Oh, it is.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, I remember that.
Yes. And I learned APL because I was in a visual psychophysics lab, as Dave Jaffe knows, at Northwestern, and realized that I had to learn multidimensional algebra and geometry if I was going to go and have any useful tools in actually understanding, well, intelligence. And of course, now artificial intelligence actually goes and makes a lot of these things useful. But
is APL implemented now on most microcomputers or most personal computers?
if you have the fourth, then this vocabulary gives you APL. Okay, this is an APL written, constructed in fourth. It's all open code. So I'd rather, let me quickly get through some of this, because again, okay, this is kind of esoteric here, but one of the things that I think about is that these languages that loop through things, these scalar languages, are sort of like a Dirac or Kronecker delta. And a program is a convolution over that list of data. And actually, I do have a convolution function in, also in there. But versus the APL perspective is like a Fourier transform of that. You've taken it from dealing, looping through individual items to having the entire object and doing something like just simply multiplying them. So in order to do this factoring of looping, you need to go and for most fundamentally have the count, the number of items that you're going to loop over as one of your items, and in order to know whether you're dealing with what the nature of the objects are you're dealing with, whether they're integers or floats or whatever, well, the first thing you need is type. So actually, I just F6 that. And incidentally, this is one of those things. I mean, the fourth syntax is far more powerful and flexible than traditional APL syntax or K syntax. Because I made this word, and I'm making more of them, tick paren, which obviously, essentially tick of just returns a word as itself, like tick. I missed that. I was heading for whatever, but anyway, tick goes and just simply returns the word following. So anyway, this makes a list, returns a list of words. For this example, again, you see, one of the things is I like RivaForth because it has a vertical bar as a comment symbol. But so this is an empty character vector, thus you don't see it. Let me eliminate that. This is essentially handing that to words, an uppercase thing. This is all of the words that are in the CoSy vocabulary. And if I go and execute this, and this is the part that is really where, okay, of course we have the quote, and so that's returning the address of this verb, I'll call it, which is count, that tells the number of count. And then again, this is a monadic loop. This all is defined one list here, and it's applying count to each of those. So there is the number of letters in each of those words. And actually, finally, I can go and concatenate across that, which turned that into a single list of integers. And actually, one of the things is back here, I had saved this as a temporary variable T0, and colon, quote, quote, returns, finds all of the places in all of the scripts where that is, where a word is defined. And so this is doing it for each of those words. It's the script that it's in and where it's defined and so forth for each of those words. So that's basic help. Then CoSy vocabulary, it's building it, one of the things, the nature of the words tends to be very geometric, like well, the count, take, cut, splits things on various things, convert, split a list on something and convert it into a list of lists. VM and MV are matrix to vector to matrix and matrix, and logical things like match and containing goes and return all the items which contain some phrase, and then, which is very useful, which is essentially give me and take two lists and give me all the items in list A that are not in list B, and or the left list and the right list. And all the ones that are in both, and all the ones that are in B but not A. In any case, and again, I can just go and there's all of the sources in the script files. Now, one of the things that's made a tremendous change in things is I happened to see this YouTube. I'm going to skip that. It's in any case, this is actually my distribution work log. So this will all be up online soon. But Control F9, I have programmed to open the windows involved. I happened to watch this YouTube, which is just brilliant, on the Apollo space program. And
let's see, well,
it went into several fundamental design principles, and principle one was use a high-level language. They actually implemented matrix operations on this incredibly minimal computer that was in the lunar lander. But one of the, and it's why essentially the motivation to have a high level language, but design principle 3, restart on failure. It turns out that this computer, the landing computer, was very nearly overloaded. And Buzz Aldrin actually went and asked it to do some, if you will, deeper level analysis and so forth, and that caused it to overload and it would bomb. And of course, when you're heading towards the moon, on the first, that's not tolerable. So this simple, stupid thing has made a tremendous difference to CoSy, because I've been dealing with this issue of understanding the exception handling enough in Riva Forth to go and trap things when you can write down, obviously, well, in just a moment I'll show. But the problem is that this IUP interface also has bugs that are independent. But it isn't just that. It is, oops, let me scroll down here where I was. You can, it's trivial. If I go and just type 0 and try to execute that, F6 that means it'll try to access location 0. And of course that that bombed. And so now I just made a change in the DOS bat file, so it restarts. And I haven't gotten the repositioning of the cursor, down yet, but the fact that it's now, it's bomb-proof in a sense. I mean, you still, you can go and manage to do something that might make an infinite loop, but fundamentally, it for ordinary uses, it restarts and you're back where you were. Yeah, it was just a matter of trivially changing the DOS thing, but it makes a radical change. And one of the things is you get to recently going and starting some ordinary people in CoSy a little. I went and looked at, let me control F9. Whoops. You see, that's one place where I don't know exactly why it bombed it, but whatever, I'm back where I was. I have this comparison of CoSy versus Python. And one of the things is doing hello world. And actually, let me just F6 this. There's hello world. I mean, it's the hello world. And that returns as, well, as an object. In any setting up, let's see, I see, actually trying to, oh, okay. We're getting to having it in a box. One of my most recent setups for a woman was sort of like, oh, so you just have a CoSy button. Well, that's what it's reduced to, because a lot of people are not, GitHub, forget GitHub, going through the cleaning up the virus thing and so forth. There are a tremendous number of people who just, they're not programmers. And so now I've got a CoSy button and it comes up into CoSy, and with actually much more of an accent on the calendar aspect, because you can learn the vocabulary, you can learn how to do things later. But that gets me to the fact that now, which actually gets back to original CoSys back in the 80s when it was pure APL. I bundled a K-Pro 2000 with the APL. I'll show, and then I'll be through. And whoops, I hate it when it does that. That actually, this shows one of the first most spectacular. Anyway, you can go and look at this online later, but that's what the K-Pro 2000 looked like. In any case, now, and I'm going to go and show you here, this is my old computer, okay? This is my CoSy Box. And to deliver that all set up, so it just starts in an environment like this. You don't have to know anything about downloading. You don't have to know, I mean, essentially you just have got, you now have a CoSy button. And you're in a language which is that simple. I always hate it when the Windows puts the stupid clobbers in the middle, it doesn't disappear. Yeah. You have this extreme simplicity, which of course is fourth. Fundamentally, it's the simplicity of fourth, but also the simplicity at the level, conceptual level of APL. So that's it. Let me come over here and I'll just hit a timestamp. So it's all saved. Okay, and any questions?
Yeah, isn't that that Apollo language for landing on the moon? What they call that, disk key system, something like that? Nouns and verbs. It was all in code.
Oh, yeah. Boy, I strongly recommend that YouTube, because he goes into, I mean, even the physical nature of the computer. It was so minimal.
Put the link to the YouTube video.
It is. All of the links are, well, if you go to, well, this will be on here, but essentially, if you
yeah, put it in the text chat here.
Oh, yeah. Let me see. I think this, let me get back here. Oh, no, let me go to, this one is really the one. Whoop, why did it? Oh, I just hit the wrong keys. I'm hitting wrong keys there. There we go. This is the main one. So I'll stick this link in. My notes will be up soon, but I'll stick this link in because it's got the link to the YouTube right in it. And actually, this got this thread, this got referenced in a thread on fourth programming for the 21st century, which on Facebook, which is I think one of the most interesting. There's now also a group on the APL side, APL dinosaurs, but this is sort of, if you will, well, it really is the melding of the brilliances and the simplicities. The two most simple-minded language designers that you know, period, are Ken Iverson on the if you will, math level, and Chuck Moore on the getting from the silicon to the dictionary. So and there's a whole lifetime of history that sort of forced me in the end to roll my own APL, but it's turned into something that is definitely a melding between them, because the interactions of having things simply passed on the stack with the ability to you know, turn that into a list and then treat it as a list produces something that is well, it's a melding. It is, but one of the most important things for me, it's always been winnowed by the fact that it has to, it's sort of my tool for, well, in particular, well, accounting. You can't avoid accounting, but it also is a matter of having your timestamp notes can be extremely important when you end up in court. And if you've never ended up in court, boy, I envy you. You know, so in any case, now that it can just be delivered in a box, and also that the focus can be on optimizing that box, which can evolve towards simply being a forth-based box. I mean, this is for your high-level languages and for ordinary, you know, human uses. You have your alternative, well, this, which is forth-based all the way down, or something that is fundamentally, I'd say, C-based. C plus, I don't know whether any of these things like Python or something have something. Well, I guess you have Java as a very fundamental language. Yeah. So that's where CoSy is now, and it's gotten it so that I can just go and say to somebody, here, the whole thing is bundled. But of course, this does not, the software is fundamentally open and available. This is actually, I think, indicative of, I did try GitHub for a while after actually William Wang, I think is his name, at Electronic Design or whatever, suggested GitHub, you know, and I got on there for a while, but it's just simpler to have a directory where there's the zip, there's the
You don't want to listen, do you?
No,
Should I put this on earphones?
I mean, whatever is fine.
I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry.
I
In
think
any
somebody
case,
off of mute. Go ahead.
oh, what? Yeah, in any case, I mean, this is just in all of the code. Here are all the scripts, and particularly all of the stuff in CoSy. I could show you. Matter of fact, I sort of will. Here are all of the scripts, and to edit a script, for instance, furniture has got a lot of these words that deal with removing blanks and so forth. Our show goes and puts up a new window, and then at R0, here's all the script for an awful lot of the miscellaneous words. So, and at this level, you can clearly see that it's all forth. So, did that clarify some things? definitely it's something, well, it isn't exactly new on the planet, but it's the evolution of since I got out of, since since I lost my tenure at Northwestern as a grad student. So anybody who has commercial ideas, who knows how to market things, check it out. We can talk, but it certainly this fact that it now is, it restarts this stupid simple brilliance, where I'm not trying to understand the fourth, you're not trying to do anything else, just out there at the DOS level, restart the thing and it goes back to its last checkpoint. Well, if that's it, then
We're still in the market.
now I do one thing. I'll say that something that what I don't know is so vast, and it includes how to go and really interface through sockets into the web, because this IUP, essentially to go and turn this in, make, get a web interface so it's available as a web app. So anybody can have a notebook, which, oh, by the way, can do their accounting and anything else. Actually, that's one thing that, oh, that's not the one that I wanted. Where is CoSy? I think this is worth showing because here it gets down to, this goes through, this is, if you will, the online manual. And one thing actually that touches on the Enigma thing, and this is extremely great. It was one of my best ideas, was modulo indexing. So, it simplifies a great deal. It simplifies the whole stuff that'd be called scalar extension and so forth in APLs. But I was trying to look, yes, this form, another one of these paren things, goes and executes everything between them and returns it as a list. So a list like this, for instance, is a is a ledger item, and essentially as a database thing, I mean, essentially the language in CoSy is very equivalent to Arthur Whitney's K. And as a matter of fact, I've got links to Arthur Whitney's K reference manual, because if you want to understand a bunch of the vocabulary in CoSy, K-CoSy was the predecessor of CoSy, but the only way you have ultimate flexibility and ultimate control over your machine is to have it based in forth. So that's more than it.
Dave, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Bob, thank you so much for your presentation. If there's no further questions, we can officially end the session, but we can stay on informally with the video recording off as long as Bill wants. So want to thank everybody for their presentations and attendance and interest. So we'll close the session now, and but leave the connection open for informal matters. Thank you very much.